Hello. Welcome to Oral Hygiene. It is the podcast where we talk about educational films, experimental cult films, and weird documentaries. This is Matt. With me is Mark Malek. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark. Mark Malek here. I'm here.
But yeah, I didn't
What's
say
up?
I just said hello. How do you get someone?
Hi.
Oh, say hi,
I
Mark. Did I
just wanted
say
to like.
no? It's like
I'm
say hello,
forcing you to
Mark,
trip over your words.
and then you
I'm
say
testing
hello,
your
Mark.
podcasting prowess.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
testing you.
Yeah, but no, you failed
Hi.
in your wordplay. That's what happened.
Yeah, I did. I did fail.
um, because maybe you're
That
on
was also a
the
test.
you might be on the wacky assy. Is that what they call it? The
Yeah,
old LSD, the wacky assy.
sticks of bars,
Mm.
rods, cylinders of acid, squares,
Cubes.
cubes,
Yeah. Today's
tetrahedrons.
That'd be awesome. Today's film
I think a
is
tetrahedron is a square. It's four sides, right?
LSD. A tetrahedron. When the 10 sides. That's one like crazy dice they
Yeah, I guess you're right.
for Dungeons and Dragons. But it's not Dungeons and Dragons Day. It's LSD Insight or Insanity Day. What's your
That's
vote?
right. So, insight.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, give us that plot description thing. I mean if it has a plot, but
Elmer Fudd has a lot to tell you about LSD.
that's it.
That's the end. Oh, many people dressed as scientists also have a lot to tell you about LSD. Children who may or may not have taken LSD have a lot to tell you about LSD.
Now, if you paid
And
attention
also
to
lots of the editor of the film may have been on LSD.
if you if you were paying attention to the end of the film, it says all the hip kids were actors and the doctors were real.
Wait, it said that?
Yeah.
Did I miss that in the credits?
Maybe. Yeah, it said the kids were like everyone in this movie's an actor except for the doctors.
Why did the doctors seem so fake and the kids seem so real?
Because
Is that
they're
also a test?
because
Are they testing us?
actors are good on screen.
Yeah, I guess
Whereas
you're right.
real people
Good
might
for
appear
them.
funky on screen. So they're good actors, I guess. Except that one guy, I wanted to kick his ass.
Yeah, I guess there is at this point we're coming. I guess what is this episode 70 for you or something? You've probably done a lot of these, right?
We're nowhere near 70, but we did several, yes.
Okay. Okay, episode 69. You've seen enough of these where they parade a highway patrolman and he's like, "Yes, many people have died of car accidents." It's always the worst and funniest thing when the career patrolman comes up and says something. So I guess doctors would be the same.
Exactly. Now the Elmer Fudd's the narrator.
Yes.
Okay, because that's Sal Mineo, who was he? Who was 60s kind of idol star and got stabbed in an alleyway or something shortly after this film was made.
What? Really?
Yeah, hold on. I'll
Is he
see if I
okay?
can. No, he died.
Oh.
If I,
Stabbing, insider insanity.
yeah. So there were dangers for Sal Mineo. I want to say he was rebel without a cause, but I also need to
Oh.
fact check that because I those are things you're supposed to do before you start recording. But oops.
Did someone check to see where Bugs Bunny was when he was stabbed?
Ah, there's a good one. Okay, here we go. Sal
That's
Mineo, American actor. Yeah, Rebel Without a Cause. Not short, a little bit after 1976 is when he got.
oh, that was
And
9 years after this.
oh, I was exactly right. The actor returned home following a rehearsal for the play. P.S. Your cat is dead after parking his car in the carport below his West Hollywood apartment. The 37-year-old was stabbed in the heart by a mugger who quickly fled the scene.
And
So,
ironically, the cat was alive.
yeah, maybe the cat was fine. Then.
The cat did.
Well,
Did someone ask where the cat was?
did they kill the cat during rehearsals or?
I've never heard of this play before today. I had no idea.
Well, I guess they had trouble with the production.
I'm just playing the cat's advocate.
He's trying to do cat humor. That's all.
Yeah, there's
Cat
only so
universe.
much of that he only had he had already used 8 lives.
Yep.
Um he went to the heavy side layer
With
and
Salminio or his cat?
Salmenio did. I guess this
Okay.
cat did. Only one of them could go.
Anyway, getting into the film,
Hmm.
yeah, I oh, it actually says I vote for insanity. Okay.
Good, good. No, that's the it's debate club now. It's going to be a compelling, good for podcasting.
Yeah, and then I said the live fish eating seemed to get you, and I was
Yeah, that
thinking
upset me terribly.
my note says eating LSD is probably better than eating live fish.
It probably is a more pleasant experience no matter what. I
Yeah, well they have a few forms of sushi where the fish is basically still alive as you're eating it. Very
doesn't
specialized forms. You have to be like at the harbor or whatever, or the fish market to have that one.
doesn't that have a different name? I can't remember. It's like an old boy where he's eating the octopus that's real, that's alive.
Yeah, I think it's a fish they do it with in Japan, but I don't have the balls to eat that one anyway. So I've had
I
fugu, but I don't have the balls for that one.
Whoa.
So
Was fugu tasty?
it's okay.
Were you scared?
No, it's in Japan. They
Yeah. Uh,
they're licensed cutter uppers. So I think it was at a work party too. So yeah, we all could have.
wow.
Yeah.
That's almost like you have to. I mean, you literally have to.
Yeah. So they show us what we should be doing instead of acid in here, which seems to be not dyeing our hair or wearing wigs because boys can't do that. Um,
Yeah. There
good
was a
old,
lot of fashion critique early on. It was like you could wear pants, you could wear a dress, you could wear a skirt, you could dye your hair, you could not dye your hair, you could have braids. It was sort of like, is this, are you trying to sell me a line of interchangeable toys, hair toys?
but what the boys want to do is have a good old game of chicken. It's too bad. I guess the digital age has kind of gotten rid of that particular pastime, I guess.
Yeah, and they made sure to specifically show a game of chicken that went wrong where people died.
I
They're
know.
just like, ah.
Why don't you do this instead of dropping acid?
Yeah, I don't think that I've never heard of anyone dying in a car crash
Yeah.
because of acid. I can't, well, dying violently because of acid. I can't take the car. If the car is in the equation, the car is the problem. But
Yeah, I mean, people do have horrible accidents, but the substance itself wouldn't kill them. Maybe all the fashion stuff is because they're putting psychedelics up as like a fad that's gone from like ancient Sumeria to today.
most of these educational films feel to me like someone who took. Did you ever take creative writing classes where you had a very specific part of the course where you had to do persuasive writing?
Verily, I say to you, I don't think I ever took a creative writing class, to be honest, but I remember having to write persuasive essays before. I think
They always feel like someone just did not take the persuasive writing seriously because because the point they're trying to make is the LSD is bad, I suppose. And it's one of those where, and this usually happens with these films where they're like, well, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. Here's a bunch of people who say that they've taken LSD and they don't really have anything bad to say about it. And here are some doctors.
And then
And
as they're telling you not to take it, they're like showing you wildly moving color and interesting like
mhm.
time tricks. I'm like, what? That makes me not want to do that.
Yeah, and they try to just put a bow on it with just actually it is not good, and then they show someone playing Russian roulette. It's just like not
I bet
correlation does not imply causation.
I bet a lot of these actors were like doing community service though.
Yeah, I would think so. They convinced me that they had done acid. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, because there's the dude in the sunglasses. Looks like he's gonna start an awesome band. You know, maybe like a Proto Spaceman 3. Not that guy with the shit mustache. He'll be in a shitty band. Um, the girl freaking out looks like Emma Watson. I thought that was amusing.
Yeah, they seem generally happy and kind of weird and kind of freaked out.
But the establishment advice comes from Sidney Cohen, who just seems to like be actively like, hate staring life in the face. So be more like Sidney Cohen.
Yeah, didn't he
Nix-
kind of look like David Lynch?
Oh yeah, but David Lynch is way more fun than that. And I like that portrait of
Oh.
Nixon prominently displayed behind him. That always adds a nice veneer of trustworthiness.
Yeah, if David Lynch was narrating this, you'd just be like, "Oh gosh, I think I did some LSD, and oh boy, I just went and threw eggs at the car."
But this was 67, so he had Nixon on his wall in 67. He wasn't quite president yet.
Well, Nixon was he had run at that point, right? Didn't he like lose to JFK? Maybe there were people who were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
You could be a big acid fan, a big Nixon fan beforehand. So
it'd be like if you were in the U.S. and you were maybe a big Ron Paul fan, I suppose.
I was double checking the date on this movie, but actually they don't put it in Sal Minio's filmography for some reason. We had the same problem with Martin Short, where they didn't want to put the making of me in his filmography. See, these films are neglected, man.
I thought that IMDb was like you have to be, or anyone can put you in the thing so that I've never heard of someone's filmography just missing stuff.
I was on Wiki for that, which same rules but
Uh,
maybe less attention.
so maybe it's like his predecessor, his descendants went in there and took it off
Yeah, get
because
rid
they
of
like
the
acid too
atrocity.
much.
Anyway, I shout out 1967, not being 100% sure, but I think that's the date this one came out because it could have been
Yeah.
69, in which case, anyway, he still had Nixon on the wall, and that's a problem.
Well, see, yeah, it said 67 at the beginning. I don't know if that's.
I mean,
I try to make note of these things because
if
that was
you're
the summer of love, man. It was time to. It was. They were pushing against overwhelming odds of just thousands and thousands of people doing acid
when I
in
do
downtown.
when I'm going to do my bit for giving establishment advice, I'm going to do it with a portrait of Trump behind me, I think.
Yeah, that'll go over really well.
Yeah.
The thing is that you wouldn't even be like 1% of 1% of people doing that.
No, that is true, but they might not be making educational films where they give you advice.
Oh, they'll be making educational films. It's just what are they educating you about, and what
No,
are
they're
telling
making
you?
YouTube rants. There's a difference. I want to make a properly produced educational film with Trump behind me on the wall.
But I mean, if LSD comparing is comparing LSD to Russian roulette that different than saying that the vaccine will give you
Goosebumps.
mutations or 5G or something like that?
The vaccine's going to give you 5G. Sorry, I try screaming it like Alex Jones, but I've been told sometimes when I do this, I'm too loud. So
The frogs are gay. That's all. The only one I remember is something that's making the frogs gay.
yeah,
But
but
that's like part of the whole YouTube cottage industry of misinformation is just a sort of a part of our long American line of propaganda that is not called propaganda.
right.
Which I mean, hey, we're here. We are talking about it. It's just
What comes up. Um, I was gonna a couple of their talking points. LSD doesn't create creativity, which is true, but it'll send it down an interesting pathway.
that was kind of ridiculous. He said he said it was tested that people thought they were more creative, but they weren't actually more creative. They just thought they were. And I'm like, how do you actually test creativity? I guess there's maybe an IQ test with little pictures.
Creatometer,
Yeah.
something
It's
like
like,
that.
okay, draw me a picture. And someone can't do it. It's like, you're not actually creative.
I mean, the
It-
Beatles probably would have just kept playing rock and roll through the 60s otherwise, which might have
So
been fine, but
that would have been better for me personally, but
yeah, again, depends. So maybe, okay, maybe you're going to buy into that advice. But um
they tried things, but I wasn't always super into what they were trying. It was like a thing where they went from something that I liked all of what they were doing, but what they were doing was super predictable, to doing a bunch of stuff where I hated half of it.
you don't like the granny music, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, I don't like a lot of
That's what Lennon started
the
calling McCartney songs in the later years. That damn
yeah,
granny
that's
music.
I greatly prefer Yoko Ono to like Paul McCartney.
um, the other one they mentioned here is, oh, like trying to self-actualize yourself. Well, that's true. You're not going to do that with using LSD. That's nothing more than a sideshow. Even if you get really good at meditation, and you're supposed to ignore all the whispering lights and things in your mind field.
I feel like most people didn't know what self-actualization even meant at that point in time.
Did they? Did I think I wrote that? They didn't use that term, did they?
Uh, I don't think they did. I thought you said it because they said it.
I don't remember. I do know the self actualization institute was founded in California in the 30s, I think, or early 40s, by the guy who wrote Autobiography of a Yogi, and I'm not going to try saying his name.
Oh, okay. Yogi Bear?
Not that, but
No.
yeah, I'm not going to. Anyway, Autobiography of a Yogi, trippy book if you haven't read it, by the way.
I haven't. There is one. There was one thing that I thought was really fun. Probably the funniest special effect was when the narrator was talking about how you would see faces, and it was just sort of a girl hanging out in a restroom, and another girl materialized and was just a girl talking to her, and then she just dematerialized.
That looks like fun.
And it was just
Have you
yeah,
have
I
you
don't think that's how hallucinations work at all.
have you ever gotten to reading about like tales of Datura?
No.
That's wild. If you go to arrowhead.org, that you can find stories of people's like drug experiences. And I used to go in and well, used to, I'll probably do it again, maybe today. But you go and it'll give you like glowing experiences and train wrecks and the best stories there. That's Arrowhead, EROWID.org, just to plug them a little bit. But yeah, you can go directly to the train wreck stories for Datura, and it's just amazing reading. Everyone's like, I woke up naked in prison. I don't know what happened. And everyone's like, smoking fake cigarettes seems to be like a thing that goes along with that one. But
That sounds fun. It's always just so hard for me to believe those stories because I think that that's part of psychedelics being so personal that inevitably you hear something that just sounds like, no, you didn't hallucinate that
it
face screaming at you.
seems most of the Datura stories end up in a hospital or prison. So, well, jail, I should say, not prison.
Yeah, that automatically is hard to it's hard to swallow because I've never ended up in prison or in jail. So I guess I've
I've never ended
brain
up in the
mental
hospital.
privilege.
Yeah.
You checked yourself into the hospital. It's like completely different
Right.
if you checked yourself into the hospital.
Right. You mentioned the Russian roulette. I always want to say,
Goulet.
yeah, roulette. I always want to say it the wrong way, but
Yeah.
like they're like, if you do LSD, your life's gonna turn to the deer hunter.
Yeah, it felt like they were just really desperate. Like, quick, we got to put something that scares people in here
Yeah, I'm
because
like,
we've been too soft on it.
that's not a normal party game.
We've been, and really, they had been pretty soft on LSD for most of this.
Well, that hip psych rocker at the end will, certainly would
Don't
don't.
do drugs and
No, I wrote down "Don't be chicken in the square." That's also Sal Mineo singing. I believe he tried to be a teen idol in
Whoa,
the '60s.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so he was
If you're
singing
gonna
his theme song.
imagine having that life where you're just narrating a film and then you do the psychedelic song at the end and then you get stabbed after your play about a dead cat.
Yeah. Well,
That
he and he
sounds
sta-
like an acid trip.
and he started it all off with James Dean.
I
So,
never watched that film because I think like my second girlfriend was obsessed with James Dean and I was jealous, so I just never watched any of his films.
how about the Wild One then?
Didn't see it.
Oh, because that's Brando kind of doing the same thing. You can handle that.
Uh, it's not that I can't handle it. It's just that I avoided it early on, and then no one ever told me that I needed to watch it.
How
So I
about the
just didn't.
Wild Angels? Peter Fonda, did you see the Wild Angels?
Oh no, Wild Angels is awesome.
Okay, there. You don't need to watch Rebel Without Cause. Just watch Wild Angels again.
Very good.
um, it's. I mean, of course, it's a fine movie, but yeah, I've seen it like maybe once, and it's not. It didn't grab me the way it seemed to grab some people. So
Well, a lot of older films, you have to be in some position where you're either gonna say I'm going to experience this, or someone makes you do it. It's just not. It's not just gonna come on
but
generally.
yeah. Um, I guess we'll wind this one up. You got your music up? Is your music there?
Oh, it's there because this is in the future.
Okay. Where?
Bandcamp.stunrunner.bandcamp.com. Ignore the first Bandcamp. Just go to
Uh,
Bandcamp. You
Okay.
know what? Support Bandcamp.
There you go. And look up Stun Runner while you're at it.
Look up Stunrunner. It's on Bandcamp.
Or look up
The
Roving
future.
Sage Media on Bandcamp
Yes.
where you'll find my stuff, which
Do that. Our web pages are next to each other.
there we go. They're neighbors, unlike
Yeah.
our actual physical
In,
spots here.
in the
Um,
storage unit.
This podcast is at Aural Hygiene Pod. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. And I also talk sci-fi movies at Matt and Luke's Sci-Fi Sanctuary, which you can find on all the pod streamers and also Facebook and Twitter at MLSFS Pod at Twitter. Facebook. After I got through the letters and I was so happy, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, the thing
anyway,
is, you put the at before at MLSFS Pod on
oh, that's
Twitter.
why. Okay. See, yeah, it's
I didn't
because
want to I didn't want to have to step in, but you don't want people to put the at after because I don't know what that does. Nothing, probably.
if they can't work it out, they're not sharp enough to listen.
Yeah, you're right. If you can't use Twitter, then get out of here.
Anyway, the ass is starting to kick in, man. I'm going to leave Bly on the Pi 40 old bilocation stream.
5G, 6G, 7G, 8G. Pfizer gang.
10,000 G's.
Pfizer gang, Moderna gang, Johnson Johnson gang.
10,000 G's. That would be a good hip hop Korean boy band.
Will you be like, there's like 1,000 gex? You want to just like, you're going to just want 10 times more than them?
Yeah.
You haven't heard 1,000 gex?
No.
You should.